Good morning, my little gabies. Rise and shine. It's Gay Weekly Roundtable time.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Oh, one false move and all the hairs go out of place. Welcome to Gay Weekly Roundtable on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. We are your hosts. I am Adam Salandra. You can find me all over social media at Adam Salandra.
And finally, I'm here. It's me, your host, Tony Moore. You can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony.
I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm also here. Yeah. Yay.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then the lights come on for you.
Yeah. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. I'm also live in the chat. And yes, we do run on drag time here.
It's so true. And hi, I am Blake McIver. You can find me everywhere at Blake McIver.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
The whole fam. I love
Look
it.
at that. Reunited.
Guys, I have to tell you something that I'm doing this weekend that I just thought. I don't
What
know. I
is
didn't tell you
this?
before the show.
You've been doing this
All of the-
all
I've
like
been
show.
really
I'm giving you
What is
Simon
that?
Cowell.
I actually
Is that
really
what he
enjoy when
does?
you do this.
I don't know honestly why I am doing it, though I will admit I am. As not
Well,
that I need to admit it,
well,
it's
you
now
don't need to admit it.
Yeah.
It's clear.
But I don't know.
I
It doesn't
also-
even feel good or anything.
I also do that a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But the difference between yours and his is that he actually goes all the way down, where yours just stops about.
Well, she's
here.
like, oh, and I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, guys,
My
sorry
hands get
for
tired.
listeners only touching my breasts. Is what we're talking about. Anyway, I'm going to Palm Springs this weekend for a birthday, but my
Ooh.
friends,
I was gonna say you're a weekend late for the white party.
Yeah.
I know,
Right.
for the best. Doing a drag show for his birthday, and I will be the MC. So,
Oh.
Ms. Tony Moore, I'll be learning much from you.
Oh.
Thinking about
Are you
your-
in full beat?
I will be.
Oh.
But
Oh,
like,
that means this has to go.
that's already why it's down to here.
Or
and
you
I'm
can-
like slowly like, okay.
Or you can have a Conchita moment.
I usually do. Every time I'm in drag, it's never shaved. This weekend.
You're
It's gonna be
All the
shaved.
way.
Oh my goodness.
Commitment.
So
Do you
check
have a
your
name
social
for her?
medias.
Like your MC persona?
I'm working between a few, but I think I might do Emma Stoned because
Oh,
Okay.
she's an
okay.
Oscar-winning actress.
Yes.
Now, and
Unfortunately.
we'll be. I know it's a very sensitive subject. Speaking of Moonlight,
Uh-oh, no. I don't want to talk about
Wait,
Moonlight.
I don't either.
Well, did you finally
talk-
watch it?
I watched it and I loved it.
Oh my
God, it's about
that's
time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't really watch it.
You
Mr. Henry
liar.
in the
I wanted to
chat.
keep it and it would have been done forever, but I couldn't. You guys are my family and I couldn't.
Why didn't you watch it?
Oh,
don't
Ronnie doesn't
even.
even know.
We
Yeah.
can't even start
Adam,
on
Mr.
it.
Henry in the chat says if they're discussing Moonlight, is it fair to ask if Adam has seen it yet?
Yeah, that's. I know inquiring minds want to know, and why didn't I stay with the lie?
Yeah,
I could answer almost
you-
any question
yeah.
about it, so I should have. Anyway, the MTV Movie and TV Awards revamped were this
Yeah.
weekend. Moonlight won Best Kiss.
Yes, it did.
Now that's amazing
is wonderful.
because it's Moonlight. Oh,
Claps
same-sex-
the black guy of the group.
Yeah, well, thank you for representing.
Sorry. So here's where my head went. Just to explain why I did not apply.
Okay.
Is I went Best Kiss. Didn't Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair?
That's
win
what I wanted to
that
point
Best
out.
Best Kiss
There
for Cruel
are
Intentions. Correct.
definitely Best Kiss same-sex couples. I think Jason Biggs and Sean William Scott might have won for American Pie. This is the first that I'm aware of same-sex kiss that was not a joke,
Right.
Or to be sexy.
Not
it was a serious
exploitive.
film.
It was
yeah,
for real.
And again, Moonlight's still getting awards this many months out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kudos, but guys, it was a gay show. It's
a real
Did you guys
gay
watch?
show.
Like,
I did not tune in.
I mean, when you
unfortunately.
open with Beauty and the Beast swinging from the Phantom of the Opera
Truly,
chandelier, I'm
truly.
like, girl.
I had to cover, and it was just only write a story if something gay happens. And I was like,
You're
this will
like,
be easy. And I was like, I can't keep
I don't
up.
have
It's the gayest show
time.
on
I don't have
earth.
time to finish this
Also, it
article.
began with the first, began after that performance.
After swinging from a chandelier.
With the first, apparently ever, in a major award show, Genderless award given out.
For acting.
Okay.
For acting, sorry. Genderless Acting Award, specifically. Handed out by Asia Kate Dillon, who I just assume you know.
Yeah,
From
so
Billions. Is
yeah,
that
so
something you watch?
this is what we were talking about.
Yeah, we did talk about
we
it.
talked about how Asia was going to be nominated for, I want to say Emmy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to say
it was-
Emmy
we
too.
were
Sounds
talking
right?
Emmys, I
Yes,
feel like.
thanks. And that the show said, we're going to nominate you. Please choose which category.
Right, which is the first of that happening.
Yeah, and so Asia wrote to them and said, please define the categories. And that actress was specifically for females, and that actor was gender non-specific, and so Asia wanted to go under gender or under actor, and now the question is, are all of the award shows going to do
Right,
this?
which is obviously there's a push from our little community to do that. But Asia, does anyone know the proper pronoun for Asia? I'll just say Asia.
I believe they.
Okay.
They?
Yes,
Well, that's a thing.
non-binary.
Yeah.
They.
They is.
I prefer to just use.
The more you know, Rainbow just popped over Tony's head.
I prefer to just use name.
That's what I was gonna say. I'll
So much
just
easier.
word carefully. Asia presented the award to Emma Watson, who won it, and they both gave speeches about there being no necessity to have gender separate the awards. Both beautiful speeches. That's many of the kids watching probably, I'm sure, because it's a different time, aren't really thinking twice about that. But definitely, it is a big deal that it's even something being discussed.
Absolutely.
So that's cool.
Yes, Tony.
Do you want to talk about they? Go ahead, because I'm sure there's people listening that have never heard it.
I just don't understand this.
I just had this conversation with my mother, and it makes me feel like I'm old now.
Well,
because I'm going, these kids today.
I know.
Well, yeah, because I just feel like, there's so many descriptions and categories and things. Like, I'm literally starting to get confused that I don't know how to call people, what pronouns to use.
Well, pronouns though is separate because there are literally all the letters of the alphabet twice over joining.
Yes.
We've discussed that for a long time, but there's Asia, if you don't know.
Beautiful.
Yes.
But I just don't.
Dibs.
But they,
Dibs.
I remember hearing a lot, like in high school, or Z. Is it Z or
Z.
Zay? And I remember being like, what?
Z confused me.
Z's hard to wrap my head around.
What? I feel like that's like when we're like the gays. You know what I mean? Like they. Like, it just seems very.
It wouldn't be. I mean, I don't identify as that, so I couldn't say anyway. But as someone,
As Z?
I identify as a male who most certainly likes males, a gay man. But they, I can't imagine liking that.
All right, I Googled.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So is anyone else confused?
Because it sounds
is
like
just me?
other. I get what you're saying.
So absolutely
Yeah.
confused. Personally, prefer to just refer. I'm just gonna refer to everyone
By name.
name.
Oh, definitely.
I think that would. We can solve this whole problem
Right.
by just going. Asia did this, and then Asia did that. And then
So
Asia
are
did
we
this.
trying to, as a society, do away from gender? Like, there will no longer be male, female?
Not as a society. I think that people who they don't identify as a certain gender, that would be a goal for them.
Well, that's going to be an interesting doctor's appointment.
Okay, here's what we.
What do you
anyone
mean?
else-
What do you mean? I mean, through the doctor, I think that they. What we really need to do is get a gender non-binary person on here to school us all.
Asia was on our sister show. So I call
Yes,
it that. Like
yeah.
we're related to it, but we're not. Jeff Master's show, LGBTQ and A.
That's the first time I heard about Asia, actually, because I don't watch Billions and I didn't know.
Look at you
my
working that in there.
No, my conversation about Asia
Was before that?
Was before that. Thank you.
Oh.
Well, then
Give
you were the
credit
first.
where-
I knew it was something
Put some
in this
respect on her name.
room.
Put some respect on her name.
Either
Respect
way.
her name.
Anyway, but Asia was on LGBTQ and A.
Yeah.
And I would like to believe, I have not listened, I'm going to be honest, that Asia did explain things.
Yeah,
there.
well, exactly. That's why, I could sit here and tell you what I think, but it's kind of nothing. It's irrelevant.
I think the big thing is for gender non-conforming people to get away from any derogatory misgendering.
Right.
Is the most important thing. I don't think it's so much. It's that thing of like your pronouns aren't under attack. You know.
Right.
I think we need to reinforce that, and also it's it's getting away from the it. The
Exactly.
And that's because that one has been very talked about as a painful experience, which I can imagine
Of
should be
course.
extremely painful.
But I feel
So-
like they falls into that category.
You're thinking of they as if you were called they, as in other. Are you black? Are you gay? I think that's what you're finding
Yeah.
so
So
disturbing
that's
about it.
not what it is.
Well, I mean, but that's how it feels.
So it's as though I'm talking. Let's say you are a non-binary, gender non-conforming person, and I'm
Confused
talking.
already.
You're a
Well,
person who
that's
doesn't.
your
Okay. So let's
your first start there.
let's say for an example, Adam does not identify as male or female. Adam is gender non-conforming, is non-binary. Okay, so Adam does not identify this way, and I'm talking to you about Adam, and I say, well, Adam was doing this. They went around and did this. They like wearing shoes.
Because if you say he or she, neither
It's
of those
misgendering.
would fit me.
But how do you just decide?
Oh,
I'm just not
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
one
I
or the
was like,
other.
Okay.
Wait, what did you just say?
Like, I'm just not going to be one or the other. I'm just going to be no label, no gender, no non-conforming.
Well,
I'm
it's
just-
not. I don't think it's that. I mean, it's the same as like, how did you decide to be gay?
I didn't. It was chosen for me.
Right. And I would have likely imagined that everyone who feels that way feels that way as well. Feels that way about themselves.
Right, and our gender identity is a spectrum, just
Right.
like our sexual
But
identity.
it's so socially not accepted that it's just now creeping out.
I mean, listen, I am someone that is very much like, be you, do you, however you want to live your life, live your life. We only get one, YOLO. But all of a sudden, I just get very confused with the so many things that are happening with, like,
Sure.
you know, there used to just be gay or straight, and now there's gay, straight, bi, everything else in between that I can't even, like. There's Yael, like, you know,
Yes.
like, and
There's
it's
gay,
like,
straight, bi, there's Yelp.
yeah, and it's like, again,
LGBTQIA.
yes,
Thank you.
and
You're
and
welcome.
it's very much like, yay, live your life. But I feel like at some point I get a little exhausted because I feel like there's always something new for me to learn. And
But that's good.
Yeah,
we should never
be
stop
tired
learning
because
about
you're
each other.
educating yourself.
no,
more.
no. I mean, you should always continue to learn. But you know, there's a new letter always. As soon as I feel like I get a good grip on it, someone comes and takes my mug and like refills it with something else that I'm not familiar with.
Yes.
And
That's
you're
just how
a
I
member of
feel.
the community on this show. Imagine being
Oh,
from
yeah.
Iowa and not even really knowing a gay person.
And
how
I-
you feel when you hear those things.
And I feel bad because if I'm in Iowa and they're asking me all these questions, like I feel like YOLO.
But we're right, but you're not there or here to represent them. And I know I'm they, but anything other than a gay man.
So,
Thank goodness.
just some things. Mr. Henry says that Asia did explain
On the other podcast.
on the other podcast, so please feel free to check
that out.
LGBTQ&A, which does air on AfterBuzz. And Emmanuel Garcia says there's a nice thing that Steven Universe does. There are non-binary characters, and they always use the pronoun they.
Yeah.
My mother teaches Hebrew, which is another language, which is a language that is gendered more so than our language.
Like the nouns.
Yes. The way that most languages are.
Right.
So glad ours isn't.
It's shocking that it isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she has a student who has a child who was born female and now does not identify as any. And my mother was trying to help this parent in Hebrew try to find a term and was like, why give up? Because my mother,
That really is hard. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a language that.
imagine an old lady trying to wrap her mind around this
Right.
and then translate it into another
Hebrew.
language.
Jeez, yeah. In a second language, you are that old lady in this moment, and we're
I feel like that only. I think I'm just trying to, again, you know, I'm still very YOLO, live your life, but I'm just trying to. I wonder how do you make that decision to, or how, based on how you feel, how do you not make the decision? How do you identify as non-gender? Does that make sense?
And I personally don't know, but I think that it's something that you
Because,
feel
well,
within you.
you know what? Because I feel like the term used to be androgynous.
Yeah, but
That's a
that could be
different
just
thing.
a look.
But that's the other person identifying. That's not self-identifying. That's saying I think that is androgynous looking. That is genderless to me as an observer.
Just put a big question mark over my head and
We already have nodding.
I'm
Castiel's
just-
suggestion is to just accept it and move on.
Listen, I accept it.
That's what it is. I'm
welcome
happy.
you.
And
Yes.
speaking to
But
your,
it's just-
speaking to your other point about like as as members of the community within the media community as well, what do we say? What do we don't really have to speak on things that are not our experience. Like there's enough people that we should let the people whose experience it is speak on it.
Exactly. And
Yes.
it's more about taking the responsibility to educate yourself, but certainly not like I can't sit here and educate you properly.
Right.
No,
none of
tell you
us,
that's what I feel.
None of us can.
It's not our life. It's not our
Right.
path.
But I would like to have someone on here that could.
But I respect everyone's decision
Sure.
to be who you are.
Right. This area is trickier than
Yeah.
It's going to take a minute.
traditionally transgendered conversation.
It's just started to get like I feel like we were walking through a meadows of lilies, and then as we continue to trek, you start looking around and wondering, okay, now what kind of flowers are these?
I'll be honest,
Look
when
what
I
God has
first
done.
That's a beautiful metaphor.
Thank you.
walking children in nature, pretty
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
I
who's
remember
that
when I
children?
first. Well, that's a quote from Drag Race.
Yes,
I'm not-
it is.
Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the kids into this.
You know how I feel about kids.
Yeah. What? Oh, not good. I was like, I thought you meant something different. And I got
No.
really nervous.
What?
I definitely lost my train of thought. Now, anyway, we can move. There's a lot to learn. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Is that I understand to first hear it, as with anything, as why I have empathy for people who have never met a gay person and so don't understand it. You should just be open, but if you've never been around something like something different than you, I understand. I'm open to understanding that you might not accept it right away and you have to learn. But I was that where I was like, well, I just don't understand why it felt to me like it was just the young generation being like, I can be whatever. But they can,
Which
and that's
is
great. Like,
ironically how the older generation looked at us.
Exactly, and so just keep,
correct.
and we're already. I'm too young to be feeling that old when it comes to that.
Right.
But I've gotten to a place where I'm like, it's not about me. I've been accepted, and thank God for that. And now it's my turn to listen and accept the other things that I don't understand.
Well, I feel like as we were growing up, and someone said you can be who you want to be, they were saying you could be an astronaut.
They were.
You can be a police
And
officer.
that is all
you
they
can
meant.
be a
Yes.
president.
And indeed it was.
And then suddenly it's now, and of course, it's like you can be gay, you can be non-gender,
Gender
binary,
nonconformingness.
Do you YOLO? Like I don't know how else to put it.
Leave it at that.
I have a question.
Great.
Oh goodness.
I'm sorry. I just, I in terms of gender, I think that, or maybe it's just me, but I definitely feel like gender, like sexuality, can be also on a spectrum, and sometimes,
Yeah.
you move on the spectrum. Does anyone have any?
For gender?
Yes.
Oh, I get it. It's kind of like how I identify as Beyonce sometimes.
Okay.
Perhaps.
I'd be nervous to immediately say yes, because I don't know how deep that
And
goes.
what
inside
I
of
mean
you.
by that is that sometimes, like sometimes my running joke is that on the inside I feel like a white Christian woman, and
it's coming out.
and sometimes it does, but sometimes I describe myself as someone that teeters between, especially the way I think, the way men are and the way women are. So maybe
He's coming out as a gender non-conforming person as we speak.
no, I identify as a male.
Right. But so then you do understand how.
But
it
I
could
get.
be.
I think I'm wrapping my head around how.
See,
Yeah.
the more you
It's
say, the more you
deeper-
talk, and
It's
It's
enrich
deeper
yourself.
than spirit
Yeah.
animal.
It makes-
I mean, I
I
feel like
think it
Beyonce
makes
is your
sense.
spirit animal. I feel like she's your
sure is.
Patronus.
She is.
Diana
She
Ross
is.
is mine. I understand that. Like
See?
that is all very
But so it just
Legit.
it is, but I think we're talking about something
Different,
deeper.
something different. Yeah.
But so I know that I once mentioned that there have been, I believe it was 2 or 3 times in my life where I actually forgot that I did not have a penis.
In what way?
In that, for a minute, I thought I had a penis.
Interesting. But what was in what scenario?
What's an example?
I was talking to someone about something, and for a minute, forgot that I don't have a penis. It just
Were
happened.
you talking about penises?
No. It just happened. And
I mean, I get it. I get it is what it is also like, why am I and most of the men up here, all of them, so excited to put on that wig and a dress and dress and drag? We're only gay men, but there's something about gender is so much bigger than what we've been taught it to be, and I think the children are now educating us on that.
And I think if you never had, if you weren't constricted in your gender performance from an early age, I feel like that also colors your, we were as little boys, as little gay boys, it was like, don't play with the Barbies,
Right.
don't wear the...
Exactly.
Don't put the skirt around
exactly.
your
If we didn't
waist.
have those restrictions, would we be up here saying something different now?
Perhaps. I think about that all the time.
Definitely a possibility.
And now everyone is Pocahontas and painting with all the colors of the wind.
And there's also, what my favorite part though, is the young straight males who are younger, who are, it's not such an other anymore. Did anyone see Lip Sync Battle, Tom Holland, who's the new Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Yes, doing Rihanna.
Guys,
Yeah.
please.
Ella.
It was, I
A.
loved it. An
He
inspiration.
did a great job.
Yeah.
Well, that's just like Taye Diggs doing Vogue on Lip Sync Battle,
I didn't see it, but I'm sure.
or
but-
Channing Tatum doing
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
but they weren't treated as jokes, especially not. First of all, it's fine even if whatever, however it's presented, it's all in good fun. But he was in drag, but not to be funny or not to be whatever. It was like, I'm giving you a performance, a Rihanna performance,
Right.
no apologies, no explanations. It was amazing.
He also, he was, in his face, he was so, like, determined.
Yes,
He was in
and
it.
the moves. Oh, the moves were
Well,
amazing.
the moves were great, but my little critique.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Michelle.
I was gonna say the
No.
Michelle
Yeah,
of the panel.
my little critique is, he could have like embraced the feminine side even more.
I think he was way focused on the dance moves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it
he
was,
did that.
But he danced.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
was
yeah.
beautiful.
Well, wasn't he Billy Elliot?
I later did
Or
find that
in
out. and I
Billy
was like,
Elliot?
okay, so
Or
you
he
were
was
there.
Billy
He was
Elliot?
in Billy
But I mean, he
Elliot.
had to
He
be
was
Billy
not-
Elliot.
he is
Jamie
not-
Bell was Billy
yeah.
Elliot.
He was in Billy Elliot, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this performance. I watched it twice, and I was like, yeah, I'm living for it. I love that
was
he
too.
started off with singing in the rain, and then went into and like totally floored Zendaya. But I was just like, I just want him to really like embrace the femininity of this moment and really like zhuzh it
Right,
up a little
but
bit.
perhaps, but I'm
It's
assuming
funny that
he's
that
straight.
was your note. My note was I wanted the shorts to be shorter. They were just
Everybody
a little
on brand
long.
there.
And
right there.
that's a moment where you should remember that if you had a penis, you wouldn't want the shorts to be shorter because you don't want things moving around. And
No, but
flopping
her
out.
penis would have enjoyed seeing and experiencing that.
Possibly.
All right, what's
Miss
happening? MTV TV Movie Awards. The other thing is Drag Race won Best Reality Competition.
Yay!
Rue didn't get to give a speech, which is unfortunate simply because anytime Rue talks is a
Wait,
masterpiece.
why didn't Rue get to give a speech?
It was one of two quick awards that Adam Devine just gave him the award at his table.
Oh.
The thing I want to know is,
That's
did
offensive.
RuPaul know that he wasn't? Because it felt awkward, like it was rushed. But I would guess that he would have known, or we would have heard that he was mad if he didn't.
I did have an inside scoop of someone who was there
Yes.
who did say that the entire thing was a complete disaster if you were in the room.
Really?
That they did not care about the organization of the actual what was going on in the room. It was all about the cameras and it was all about what was getting on TV. So there were even some nominees that were not properly seated during their category. Like there were people that had to get up from the seats.
So it was
in
about
the
a
back
show.
and like find their way to the table that there was supposed to be a placeholder for them to swap out. And it was like, so apparently it was a big nightmare.
The tea just spilled. But because they were doing it, catering to
Allegedly.
the TV audience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Allegedly.
right.
Allegedly.
Well,
Wow.
And I'm not revealing my source.
yes.
Never
We wanna
reveal
keep
your
that
source.
source.
Never reveal your source.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Well, congrats to Rue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm very happy about is just to see the growth of Drag Race
Yes.
and the acceptance of Drag Race. With this move to VH1, I heard that the numbers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that they are signed up for season 10.
Yes.
And I'm happy that this show can reach a broader audience.
Me too, because I forget, like, when I was in college, Flip It, you'd just be on VH1, but, like, not really necessarily something you always watch, and so I'm sure that's happening with Drag Race. It was on, did you guys see on SNL?
Yes.
Harry.
Yes.
Yes.
That was
well.
amazing.
Amazing.
Well, two things happened with that. One, with that parody, I love that it depicted like these really like masculine men, kind of,
which is what I'm like. Is
kind
this
of
happening on VH1 now?
Well, kind of showing like, oh, you know, I kind of tuned into this show and
Right.
it said something about Drag Race, but they were really like fans of it. And then when they went into the lip sync and they did Erica Jane's,
Yes,
that's great.
I was like, I love this moment of interwovenness.
Oh yeah, it was so
it was
beautifully queer.
It's a good time to be gay. Truly. Let's face the facts.
Yeah. See, I think we're living in a time where we want people to just live your life and respect how people are living their lives.
Right. Hence,
because it has nothing to do with you. If that makes sense.
it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But I think that's what a gender non-binary person would then school and argue us.
Yes, I'm gonna go home and look that up. 'Cause
I love it. Okay, but as
Confused.
amazing.
Speaking of butts.
yeah, look at him go.
Butts.
Just to be fair, I think during this performance, Bobby Moynihan was definitely better.
You thought he was the winner?
I thought he
That's what I was going to
much
ask.
better.
Who won this challenge? Who was
Except
the
when they
winner?
twerked, Chris
Chris
Pine
Pine.
did twerk better, but Bobby Moynihan's performance in this was so much better.
I thought that Chris Pine knew the song better,
Mm-hmm.
and his lips were moving more to the word.
Well, maybe he's an Erica Jane
He
fan.
might- that's probably the situation. I mean, who isn't?
Who
so
isn't?
anyway, we could have one of these every week on SNL, and we'll start judging.
You know what?
winners.
Yes.
Along these lines, I just want to bring this up, and I don't know if you brought this up last week during your discussion of DragCon, and I don't know if you guys know this, but during DragCon, Jerry O'Connell
Yes.
got into full drag, and
Won Celebrity
we
Drag
did
Race.
talk about that.
huh?
Oh, I thought you were going to say he won Celebrity Drag Race.
Oh no!
To be a thing.
Well, I think that should definitely be a
we
thing
discussed
or a
that
challenge.
in depth
We did.
last week.
That would be amazing.
But I thought the lip sync was.
Oh, I actually didn't see that.
Okay, so one of the surprises was that he went from his makeover panel, went and got completely dressed and came into the lip sync for your life panel and lip synced against Darian Lake.
Wow.
Amazing.
And he lip synced to Sissy That Walk. He had been practicing the lyrics in order to have them down and everything like that. Someone showed him how to do a death drop.
And he did it?
Which I heard a thump, and I looked over and I was like, death drop. He also did a tumble.
Wow.
Like, he was like fully committed to it, and I was like, kudos to you, Jerry O'Connell.
He's also, I believe, a huge Housewives fan. Like, he's a straight man for the gay people.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. So you get some snaps for that, Jerry O'Connell. You work, honey.
Snap away.
Yes.
Well, anyway, like we say, a good time to be gay.
Yes, very good time.
Here.
Okay.
Other parts of the world, not
Not
so
so
much. Still horrifying news out of Chechnya, although they have been saving some people.
Yeah.
There was I signed a petition on change.org and
Good.
that, but then I got an email from them today saying that they went to deliver 400,000 petitions or signatures, and they were detained immediately in the back of a cop car.
Oh.
These activists. So that's terrifying as well. But Blake, you have some.
Well, it's really just it's because it's awful. It's still going on. Now there are 6 known illegal concentration camps
Oh, I
in
did not know
Chechnya.
that.
Yeah. They're estimating 200 people are being illegally detained right now. And not just detained, but like actively beaten and tortured, and it's horrific. But the website that you can go to and donate to, and I really encourage you to, if you can, even if you can just give a couple dollars. If you go to rainbowrailroad.ca, you can go right to /donate to donate, but I encourage you to actually do some of the reading on the homepage. It's worth your time. Yeah, it's still awful. It's still happening. Now the Chechnyan authorities, which I hate even using the word authorities for these bastards, but they're actually encouraging parents to murder their gay children.
And an uncle of someone
did,
threw his nephew off a roof.
Yeah.
It's like ISIS things.
To cleanse the
Yeah. So it's literally a nightmare that's happening on Earth. But the Rainbow Railroad is good because there was another one that was being passed around, I think Russian and LGBT network, but it's legit, but the website looks like it just made me uncomfortable too. This one looks very it's very easy to use.
Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward interface.
Yeah. So please do check it out.
Sad times.
Back to happy gay. Or actually, let's do straight. And
In straight news.
we care for you allies as well.
Straight news.
Straight news, you're still awful.
You mean just news?
Why?
Well, I feel like
Why?
it can definitely kind of be gay news because Steve Harvey was a bit shady.
Yeah. And that's gay.
Yeah, so Steve Harvey just wrapped the Steve Harvey show this past Thursday, and the show
Forever?
The show for season 5 is actually moving from Chicago to Los Angeles, and will be renamed Steve and go to daytime. He said that being in LA will allow a different format, including celebrity guests and things like that. However,
Come on.
Mr. Harvey is having issues with his staff and decided to send a memo. And here is what Miss Memo
I
said.
actually can't wait.
Yes. It
You
said,
haven't read this?
No.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, it's good.
Buckle up, kids.
I want you to imagine it from that mustache face.
Yes.
I always
Yes.
do.
So here we go. It says, "Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'd like you all to review and adhere to the following notes and rules for season 5 of my talk show. There will be no meetings in my dressing room, no stopping by or popping in. No one. Do not come to my dressing room unless invited. Do not open my dressing room door. If you open my door, expect to be removed."
And I see that's in all
All
caps.
caps. "My security team will stop everyone from standing at my door who have the intent to see or speak to me. I want all the ambushing to stop now. That includes
Ambushing?
Yeah, that includes TV staff. You must schedule an appointment. I have been taken advantage of by my lenient policy in the past. This ends now. No more. Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly. Either knock or use the doorbell. I am seeking more free time for me throughout the day. Do not wait in the hallway to speak to me. I hate being ambushed. Please make an appointment. I promise you I will not entertain you in the hallway, and do not attempt to walk with me. If you're reading this, yes, I mean you."
He means us.
Everyone,
He literally means us. 'Cause
Yes.
we all read this.
Yes.
Everyone, do not take offense to the new way of doing business. It is for the good of my personal life and enjoyment. Thank you all, Steve Harvey. Now, Steve Harvey has then come in
He's
today
responded.
to say, yes, I sent that.
Oh, I like that. That I actually.
He
Yes.
stood by it.
Yeah.
He definitely stood by it. But here is what I want to know from you guys. Do you think he is being the diva, or do you think he is trying to kind of have the staff be a little bit more respectful of him and maybe the time that he has to himself?
So here's the thing. At AfterBuzz, sometimes our leader Kevin is here, and he's trying to get from the front door to the studio to do his show. And as soon as he walks in, somebody at the front will start talking to him. And as soon as he gets away from them, the next person will start talking to him. And it'll take him half an hour to get 5 feet.
Sure.
So I
sure that's true.
totally understand. Like
Yeah.
the way it reads, if you don't think about the way a studio works, sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But the truth is, he's saying, listen, if you want to talk to me, if you have something important to say, the schedule, let me know. Send me an email that we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Do not just show up and talk to me.
Yeah.
I totally get it, but he
I
comes
get
off as
it
such
too.
a rude person.
I get it in this context, absolutely. When you're
Yeah.
running a show, you know, like I feel like there's still a big difference between like this and like Leah Michelle syndrome.
Sure.
You know, where it's
Yes.
like extras aren't allowed to look at me in the eye. Like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
This
Is that
is not.
real?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
I will put her on blast.
Allegedly.
No, I'm not allegedly anything. That one. No, not allegedly.
I'm shocked you
Leah
don't like
Michelle.
Okay.
Okay, now he's getting upset.
Wow.
Okay, well, forget Steve.
But I know, but I
Bring it
really
back to the gays.
I don't think this is that.
Sure,
I don't think
but
this is
but
that
my
level of.
That's the thing is like everything that's said in it is like that seems fair, and perhaps he was. We don't know what's going on there. Maybe he was so lenient that
Yes.
he needed to
If
address
he,
this.
yeah, because if he like started a policy of just like it was constantly open door, I'm
Right.
sure that worked out on the with his small immediate staff. I'm sure that was fine.
Right.
Ping ponging ideas and whatnot.
Sure.
But then when that as it's getting bigger and then moving to a new studio and moving to a new format, and like suddenly you've got 100 people under you, you
Right.
can't just be chatting with them all the time. You never get on the air.
But I wonder why, like, he was the one that had to write it. I guess he didn't know it would be leaked, but, like, well, I'd have an assistant be like, can you say these are
Right,
the new rules
or
and
a
enforce
producer or
this?
something.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to say, no, this is coming from me.
For me, owning
Yeah.
it
Which is
to
what I'm
and-
kind of into. He's coming
Yeah.
back and be like, no, I said it.
But
Yeah.
you know, reading it, I kind of I suddenly pictured like how his day must be. And as soon as you get there, you have one producer coming to you and saying, "Oh, da 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 da," and then you get to your dressing room and you're like, "Oh," and then all of a sudden, no, hey, blah 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 blah, you know, and
Yeah.
there's just
Yep.
always
Constant.
someone just saying
Constant.
something. And when you're hosting something, and I know that this has happened to me, especially during live events, you'll say something on the mic, and then there's someone going, "Hey, make sure you da 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 da," and
So
like while you're talking,
true.
and it's like okay, got like you know
I'm
what
still
I mean?
doing my job. Though.
Yeah,
So
and
true.
it's like you just want that moment of like peace. Like if I'm in the makeup chair, let me have those 5 minutes like to myself. But if it's very, very important, like by all means make an appointment. But like don't just come barging in on my personal time so much, because I just need a moment to myself.
There
And
shouldn't be more than 3 people that need to talk directly to him anyway.
Yes.
Everyone else, there should be plenty of people under
Yeah.
him or actual producers that they should talk to. It's people who probably want to. They're probably really annoying.
What's funny though is after reading it, before reading it, I didn't think I had anything to meet with Steve Harvey about, but now I want to make an appointment.
Exactly.
Like the letter made me want to do it the correct way. Like I wanted to make an
You're like,
appointment
and
with
just be like,
Steve
I have nothing to say,
and be
but I
like,
want to treat you right.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
respect your
I respect
space
you.
and book an appointment with you.
And you also have to think, when working on a TV show, there's so many people who, before you go through the proper channels, it's just like they just go straight to him and go, "Oh, I need you to do this," and it kind of alleviates that. Like if it's not that important, like hold on, or make an appointment and say, and because I'm really big on time too. It's like, okay, I want to meet with you for 5 minutes. I'm going to cover all this, and then that's it.
Right.
You know, or you know, you're trying to get in the mindset before you start your show, and you have people on your walk with you. Can you imagine if like Kelly and Ryan Seacrest were like walking to do their show and an entourage of people were walking with them to tell them all their stuff before the doors open and then they go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would be a bit
It's
annoying.
distracting.
Yeah, so all that to say, for those people who are trying to act like, oh, he's being such a diva, no, he needs a moment to himself. And if you can put yourself in his shoes for a second, you'll realize that he's just being direct. He's not going through anyone else. He's saying, listen, y'all are cheating too much. I need y'all to calm it down. I need y'all to let me have my few minutes. If you really need to discuss something with me, make an appointment. That way I know that you're coming, because the last thing I want is to be chilling in my dressing room, maybe sitting there in my robe or something, got my feet propped up, thinking like I'm gonna enjoy this like little 5 minutes, and someone comes busting in with a problem that's not that urgent or not that in dire need. Like, you could have waited.
All right, well,
And
Team
there's
Steve
that.
over here.
Yes.
Okay, my love, my
Yes.
dove.
So, as everyone knows, ClexaCon just happened in March.
But somehow we're still
Lesbians.
talking about it in May.
Oh no, the new one, the next one.
Next
we're already on.
ClexaCon.
We're already on to the next
They
one.
already planned in 2018.
Girl, how many weeks in a row have we talked about Drag Race?
But but here's
Okay,
But
so
here's
next
the thing.
year's
Oh no.
ClexaCon.
I'm gonna hit reply on that before you move on.
Oh, did you book an
Looks like
appointment?
a reply all.
Did you
No,
book an
no,
appointment?
This is my appointment. What time is it? Because that clock is fast.
Go.
Clock 5:01.
4:55.
Now, when it comes to Drag Race, there were things leading up to it. Drag Race is a weekly show. ClexaCon is a once-a-year conference, and we have literally been talking about it all year. I feel like we're on the preparation team for it.
She patiently sits there to represent not only lesbians, bisexual people, often bringing us trans news, teaching us about gender non-binary. We give her her moment.
Thank you.
And now you can have that moment. But I'm just saying, I'm still surprised that we talking about ClexaCon
Oh, Lord.
still.
Well, let's hear what she has to say, and then we'll decide.
Let her.
It was just announced the date for next year's ClexaCon, which is April 5th through 9th.
Of
And
2018.
Is that longer?
It's longer.
Yeah, that's-
So a lot of people were like, what? So
Including
they
you,
released-
no doubt.
Yeah, so they released a statement. We heard from a lot of people at ClexaCon 2017 that it just wasn't long enough and that you wanted more time to celebrate and hang out with the ClexaCon community before heading back to the quote-unquote real world. So ClexaCon 2018, we're adding more events to give you 5 days to spend with your new and old friends and to enjoy being in a safe, positive environment with people who quote-unquote get you. If you only got 3 days, still plan on coming Friday through Saturday for panels, workshops, and celebrities. But if you want a little longer, we've added some fun events and activities so you can stick around and make the most of your trip to Vegas.
See, I mean, that's like it's more than that's a vacation, but
Yeah.
with a theme.
Yep.
I mean,
and-
if DragCon that's all I can ever compare it to. If that was 5 days, first of all, those people would be spread out that you ran into that made it too
Right.
much this year.
Team Too Much.
Right, but
And I would have loved to have actually seen Team Too Much. I couldn't
or
see
anyone,
Team
or
Too Much
anyone.
from all the people that were being Team Too
yeah,
Much.
exactly.
The truth is, it was very short, but what people loved was, and I remember feeling this when you walk right outside our tiny little convention into Las Vegas, which is full of the rest of the U.S.
Right.
People went out and went, oh God, like especially women, especially non-straight women, being surrounded by the types of people that were in Vegas at that time. We were like all the time. We were like, oh God, why can't it be like our safe space? And so the idea that they went, we're going to give you more safe space.
Yeah, that's great.
It's
really
so
cool.
Oh,
sweet.
I see. Instead of just now you're out in Vegas if you stay longer.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Well,
great.
I feel like that goes for any type of like convention, like like Comic-Con. Like you feel like
Tell me about Comic-Con.
never been, but
Exactly.
I feel like
Go on. Tell me about it.
I'm sorry, wait, because I missed that, and normally I'm quicker on the thing.
The delayed was even
Yeah,
even better.
I'm usually quicker. Were you coming for me?
No, I just wanted to hear what you had to say.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify because last time I checked, there were no invitations to come for me.
Oh.
Hey,
Twirl, Kenya, twirl.
we need to listen. One time, Blake and I were here by ourselves, and he brought us champagne. I think we need to start doing. It's true. I'm sorry you didn't catch that. I think we though need to start doing cocktails so that we can be like sipping a straw, like
yeah,
on
we
Tuck
need to-
style, when like
yeah.
a little fight breaks out, which I'd like to see
I
more
imagine
of.
Can we
Wow.
get Hamburger Mary's as a sponsor?
Yeah, that's what's missing. Yeah, unfortunately.
Now back to what I was saying.
Yes.
Oh.
I feel like conventions like that, like you feel like, oh, I'm around people who are similar and have similar interests and things like that. And then when you do go out into the world, it's like, oh my God, all my people were back there, but I don't know where they are.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
That's the only point I was trying
Oh,
to make.
yeah. That's correct.
so he's actually agreeing with you,
fair statement.
as it turns out.
Well.
They was agreeing with you. Is that how you would say it? I just want to test it out to see your face.
Yeah, I think
and
that's
you
how
didn't
you'd say
disappoint.
it.
But what I
Never.
mean is, instead of they were, right? They was, because it's still singular.
They. I thought you said bay. I was like,
Oh no, that would have been a happier reaction.
No. I think that is correct.
They was. Okay, well, we have a lot to learn, obviously, and I will
Yes.
be looking for someone to come in and
Ongoing
teach
journey.
us. Yeah.
Someone to tell us.
I think that's all we have time for today. But ooh, a feisty, and I love it. Please follow me on social media if you want to see me in drag this weekend. Sans facial hair, and follow us all. You can find me at Adam Salandra.
And you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com.
Don't forget to follow Lounging with Tony and at loungingwithtony.com. Yeah, I got you. I'm Yael Tygiel everywhere at Yael Tygiel, YAELTYGIEL.
And you can find Yael at ClexaCon happening in April 2018.
We'll see. We'll see.
I've decided that I'm going to ClexaCon now.
Let's all field trip.
I feel like, oh my God,
We'll do a live show.
Let's have a panel.
it. Yes.
I'm Blake McIver. You can find me everywhere at Blake McIver. Check out my Facebook page, Blake McIver Official. I've got a show coming up next week and lots of fun things to post.
Barbara, baby. Bye. We love you all.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.